Kim, and hopefully I text. I know that Matt is on his way,
Okay.
but because we have an executive session at 6:30 that we have to have.
Okay.
So
Would you prefer that I possibly then start with
in whatever you
more the global piece that you and I have been talking about, but
Yes.
probably would take action in 2019, and then we can go to something that Clark wants to kind of bring up?
Yeah.
Are you going to need the overhead?
No, because it has
Yeah.
personal information on it.
So I'm going to go ahead and call to
So thank you,
order
though.
the December 3rd, 2018 workshop, special meeting, whatever, and I will turn it over to Kim Calabro.
Okay.
Let's do a roll, let's make a note over
Okay.
the minutes of
Okay, roll
who's
call.
here. Councilperson Hawkins.
I'm here.
Council President Gill.
Here.
Councilperson Ellis.
Here.
Councilperson Samuel.
Right here.
I did hear from Matt. He's at work and running late. I'm trying to get a hold of Ed and Dustin, but okay. So, okay, you
Okay.
got the floor.
Thank you. I think you all remember, I feel like we've had so many meetings about the salary ordinance and stuff over the last 6 or 7 months, but the way we left it with particularly the CDL drivers, and I know most of my conversations have been with Mr. Ellis and with Lisa talking about the CDL drivers. So the biggest issue is obviously with the new pay ranges and the new changes for the entry-level pay effective 1/1 of 2019. And because of the fact, I'm talking about CDLs because as we've discussed for probably the last year, is that's typically the one area and the one group of employees that we have that the turnover is high. Trying to hire people has been very difficult, so trying to even attract new staff and new talent has been difficult. And when we do find them, several of them have actually come to work, we've onboarded them, processed them, got them enrolled in benefits, and they've resigned. That's happened about 3 times. In the last year, we have 9 folks who have left. Many of our CDL drivers are here today with us. I don't know if any of them want to make a comment. I've let them know that they could, but they might be a little shy today. I don't know. So the biggest concern that we have, and on behalf of Clark and the CDL drivers, is that with the new entry-level pay ranges, as you know, now the CDL drivers are going to be starting out, the new entry level is $15.75. Currently, the majority of our drivers aren't far off that new entry-level rate. In addition to that, the manager's hiring rate is up to the 35% now in the 2019 pay grade, which would allow the supervisor to hire a new person that had experience at $18.81, which is over what most of our CDL drivers are making currently. What I did was meet with Liz, our consultant, and kind of throw this issue at her and tell her, how can we look at this and try to fix this from an internal equity standpoint to, one, not have this continue to be an issue with CDL drivers, with trying to find CDL drivers and trying to retain them. So I went back and looked through every CDL driver's employment application. We have, out of our 16 drivers, we only have 2 drivers with less than 15 years experience driving. The average is at about probably 25 years of experience. So I think that's pretty significant. So what I did was I had Liz give credit, instead of knowing that we probably can't afford to go back and give credit for 20, 25, 30 years of experience, we looked at 10 years of experience on top of that. And then she basically did the formula for where the employees currently are at and where that goal rate would be given our new pay ranges. And within the sanitation department, the cost to basically make them whole on what we would consider the adjustment goal would be $35,000. I'm sorry, I can't really see this, it's so dark. $35,679. And right, yeah, and that does not include Social Security. No, that does not include Social Security and PERF. And then in the street department, it would be $6,790.
Okay, let me stop you for a second here.
Let me say that over.
Well, is this adjusting the concern that I talked to you about, because I didn't want to bring somebody new in making this much, where you had somebody that's been here for years and just about either barely making that or a little bit above?
Exactly.
This is addressing that.
Yes.
And that $35,679 would address that.
Yes,
And then the 6,790 for street would address that too, right?
yes, that is correct.
So, Kim, what would that 35,679 do, I mean, money-wise or salary-wise do for those employees?
The basic hour rate change goes anywhere from 39 cents to $3.13 on the hour variance, based upon, I don't want to say their years of experience, because like I said, I didn't have Liz go back and actually count the whole 20 years, knowing that that's probably not going to be a feasible amount to be able to get to. And then if you start doing that, then you've got other departments kind of wanting the same thing. It's already a unique enough situation as it is.
But the
Her
39
and her,
cents, oh,
pardon me, go ahead.
but the 39 cents per hour will be for someone with not as much experience, and
Yes.
$3 an hour, graduating
Yes.
to $3, whatever.
Yes. And it would also reflect some of the folks who actually are a little bit closer to where they should be in the range. Because if you recall, there were years ago when we hired some folks, and for about 2 years, we couldn't hire anybody above that minimum. There are 2 people in here that were affected by that for a while, so they've taken a while to get caught up. So looking at where they currently are, and I had to look at what their rate of pay was going to be for 2019.
So these numbers are for 29, the 35,000,
Yes,
6,000,
yes,
that's
which is
29.
why I'm just now getting this to you, because we've just finished we're in the middle of working on the performance pay increases. So these would be the numbers that Clark is looking to pay folks in 2019. And I don't know where the money comes from. I know that sanitation, I've learned something today from Heather, that's a fixed budget, and depending on how that works, there may have to be some, you want to explain that?
Okay, because the next question is this 30, almost 6,000 plus the Social Security and PERF. Do we ever have any left over in sanitation employees? Or is that number exact? Like when you figure that number at the beginning of the year, is it exact?
Usually. Yeah, the only income we figure in is the performance pool.
Well, we've not dipped
That's
into the
separate.
accrued benefits, because not everyone, buys back their vacation time. A lot of people like to have those days and hoard them and not buy them back.
Is there any, I don't have the expenditures or the budget in front of me, but is there any money in the budgets currently that will be available to tap into, or
No.
or is it totally new?
Well, you
No.
have to think about long-term.
Or yes.
too. So it depends on, which is one thing that Clark and I kind of discussed a little bit today, is that, I don't know if you want to.
And, yeah, we've been meeting for like the last hour talking about
I was gonna
how
say
to offset the
that,
cost.
On my budget, I'm trying to get some of the guys at about 5 or 6, 7, up to 17. I was gonna move some money on my equipment over, that I had left over like $7,500 for that part of it. And I told them what I would, get them 17.
But that's
Right.
that's what you're looking to do for their
Right.
pay increases
Right.
for now, for
For now,
January
for
1.
January.
About 5 of them went over the
6 of them.
7%.
He's talking about encumbering money from this year?
No, transferring
From
equipment with some,
Because right now in the 2019 budget, there's $100,000 that's budgeted for equipment in
Mhm.
sanitation, because you have to kind of separate
mhm.
MDH from sanitation. In sanitation, there's $100,000 in equipment that's budgeted, and he's proposing just to kind of help with some of the problem, but not all of the problem. That would be about $7,500 to transfer that from equipment. Doesn't take care of the whole problem,
Yeah.
which is around, with benefits included and everything, that 35 or whatever is about $43,000.
Yeah, but my question was, you're talking about transferring, but he's talking about transferring it in his 2019 budget, because he can't transfer anything this year
No.
without us
No, we're
encumbering.
talking
no,
about
no.
That's why I said, if he had
2019.
any money that he can encumber, that he have left over,
No,
that we
it's
could,
not encumberable type money.
Uh-huh.
You'd have to have a bill for it.
Right.
I'll send you a bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish I could.
So you got $100,000 in your vehicles, equipment, and you're only going to, right now, you're standing there thinking you're only going to spend $92,500.
Yeah.
So you got $7,500 just to take a bite out of this,
Right.
right? I'm understanding this right, okay.
I like
So
that
that's
analogy.
basically going to pay for the Social Security and PERF part of this. plus or minus a few dollars, $7,500 probably is about what Social Security and PERF will be.
Right.
Okay.
This, well, no, hold on.
This,
No, this is to get them
just to get them
what we
to
proposed
17.
to have for 2019.
Right.
Plus what Kim's talking,
Two
the
different
30-some
issues,
thousand
separate
is
things.
over and above that 75.
So the same
it's
employees
43
that are
plus
getting the 17
75.
are going to be double added? That was not a good way for me to say that. but,
It's not really double added
No,
because.
just brought more
just
to
brought
what the
more up to
market
what the market
says.
is for them.
Okay.
Like, because right now, most of the market, with most places, are hiring them
Yeah.
from 18 to 21 dollars an hour.
Or 23.
Well, and that's I want to go back, if I can, to a question, if I understood you right. You said 9 have left
Yes.
recently. Is that
This
like
is
the last
2018.
year,
This is 2018. Mhm.
And 3 have left in the last, 3 new hires have been left, turned around and just left right after you hired them.
Yes, 2 of those, yes.
Are
And then we have several who can't get past the background. check.
any of these, and I'm sure like at this job, you don't do like an exit interview or anything like that. I mean, are they just leaving for the money? I mean,
Most of it is about the money.
And the last one, he was very apologetic, and just like, and feel free to ask any questions of any of the drivers we have. I mean, a lot of our employees have second jobs. Granted, they do choose to work here, and they've chosen the salary. I know we've had that discussion, and some people have made that comment that, well, they chose to work here. A lot of them have second jobs. One of the benefits of working for the city is they're done at 3, they can start a second job at 4 or 5. They're not doing over-the-road stuff, they're not doing weekend things. You know, working here allows them the opportunity to be home, stay local, not traveling on weekends. You know, and that's part of it too, but when the analysis came back and the market has shifted that much, and when we have people out at River Ridge stopping our drivers and saying, hey, you know, come work for me, you know, that's when you really know you have a problem. And we have had the ad, I looked back, there's probably maybe 6 weeks out of 2018, I think, that we looked that we've not had an ad for a CDL driver posted. The quality of the candidates are just, they're just not there. And I think, you know, a lot of the guys in this room can speak to that, because when we do have people and they show up, it's just like, oh man, you know, it's like, where'd you find this person? But there's just not a lot to choose from. And oftentimes the ones we do have to choose from, 1, have no experience, or 2, can't get past the minimum requirements of passing one of the 2 background checks, or one of the prerequisites for having the DOT physical.
Well, one of the things that I would like to see and really concerns me is that the current drivers that we have are the ones that we need to take care of.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to
To
do.
see
Yes.
someone hired in,
Right.
making more than what our current drivers would
Right.
be making. And
Which is-
I
yeah.
guess
That's
we-
why we're here.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I
Take care of.
Yeah, and that's why, and these, like I said, these guys, you know, being there too, is that these guys put a whole lot of time and effort and energy in doing what they do. And the thing with it is that it's like this last few weeks with not only double days, which is, you know, they're doing their job, but also with the excess yard waste, excess everything. And the city's getting bigger and bigger, so they continue to do. And I know it's their job, but they do a good job at it too. But I think a little bit of compensation for them sometimes ain't that bad in the long run, because they put in the work to do it. And like I always tell people all the time, and it ain't gonna happen this way, but I said, let us not pick trash up, you know, for a day or two, see what happens around here in the city.
Oh, all you gotta do is that in the holiday, and people don't know when, they ain't picked my trash up yet.
And they get calls within 15 to 20 minutes. If somebody pick up, they're looking at the window, people in the community looking at the window, man, they haven't picked my limbs up yet, they haven't picked my trash up. And it just, I mean, but the whole point I'm trying to make is that, number one, I do appreciate the support y'all giving us. That's the first thing. So I'm not, that part is not going unnoticed at all. And then I appreciate you all working with us, and whether you could be equipment or trying to help us fund stuff, do whatever. And it's been invaluable. It's been real good, because we've needed all. And then like we come up here, I come up here especially, and do something just, you know, for myself, for the communities, for these guys, to make it safer for them, and them doing their job and the whole deal. And like I said, I just want to tell you all, first of all, I appreciate what you all have done for us. And we're just trying to tighten them up some, because the market has changed so much, And we still want to try to get, we got quality guys now, but we still want to try to get more quality guys there to go along with these guys. But yet,
Yeah.
these guys are the ones working the tail off a whole lot of times.
Well, we're short 2 drivers
yeah.
still,
Mhm.
so, I mean, that means 2 additional workers are following on the heels of,
Have a question. I'm good with what you're talking about. We talked about the guys that actually pick up the trash.
Right.
Mhm.
Are we going to talk about those guys too? Because they're some of the hardest working folks in the city.
They are. But we're trying to we're trying to do first steps first, and
What's the second step?
Yeah.
is to try
I'm
to.
ready.
Well, the second step
Oh,
is
I
trying
can
to
bring
get
that-
I'm ready.
the labor guys up some too. Because these guys, well, let me just emphasize
Yeah.
something. These guys not only drive trucks sometimes, but they also get out of the truck, pick up trash too.
Yeah.
They're not just
Yeah.
driving.
And,
It's
and,
a combination
yeah, and to
thing.
your point, Nathan, a lot of those who were affected did get brought up to the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And what Heather and I have been doing is working very closely with Liz. We just did this one first because the CDL has been the
Right.
issue for 6-7 months, and that was a priority when I came to you in
Mhm.
July about all these changes that, before January rolls around, we've really got to be looking at these CDL drivers and getting those. That's going to be the priority. What we're going to be doing is once we have all of the new pay for 2019 loaded, that's going to go to Liz, and then she's going to do the same analysis for everyone else. Now, again, looking at that analysis, we're not going to be doing the whole 10 years or whatever experience. We're going to basically be looking at from years of service with the city of Jeff. And I don't mean to discredit or minimize general laborers. However, the market right now is being driven by CDL drivers and not general laborers, and that's not where we typically have a hard time finding employees. CDL drivers is where we have difficulty not only attracting but retaining them, and that's the biggest issue. So, not to minimize the hard work, and I appreciate you bringing that up because they do.
They do.
But if
We
you want that to
take-
be the
we
next
take care of
step,
the people that work inside.
Right,
absolutely.
Right,
And
Right.
I'm talking about in this building.
right.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I think we
I
need to
appreciate
talk
you
about
saying
the
that.
others.
I agree.
Mhm. And I agree with
I know
appreciate
these folks around,
Mhm.
I think we all agree with that. I
Right,
think,
right.
for the most part.
So with that as somewhat of a motion, I will make that a priority for January to look at the general laborers.
Make that motion.
If you need a
You
motion.
can make that motion, Ms. Gill.
Don't make me come over there. Make a
I
motion.
guess I'll make a motion that we ask him to check into that for the other lower paid
And
section.
it's second.
Okay.
We got a motion and a second to give Kim the go-ahead to, hold on a minute, to go ahead and look into bringing up the general laborers too. So is there any further question or comment? If you had something to add now, I'll allow you to add it.
What I was gonna do is that I want to also transfer that 7,500 over.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, all right.
We just want to try to get the street department, sanitation, your CDLs, and your general laborers
Right.
all taken care of together.
Right.
Because when you're sitting there and they're working side by side out
Right.
there,
Oh, yeah.
this guy just got hired in, they got a tough job. We want
Mhm.
morale to stay up too. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Now, it sounds to me like you have that 7,500 you want to transfer.
From equipment.
So we'll have to do that right off the bat. That's why,
Mhm.
with talking with Kim, we wanted to have this workshop so we can get a little homework done, so come January, we'll be set to go. So now it sounds like we're going to have to do a little budget reduction to come up with
The 7,500, yes. But we need a motion from the council to allow, to increase it up to the $17 an hour, because that's more than the salary administration policy approves at the 7%.
He only has the authority to do 7%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll make that motion to whatever she just said.
We got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or comment?
What's the motion?
Yeah, we got to have a
Motion
motion.
to
To allow Clark to hire, or
go
to
CDL drivers,
have the CDL drivers more than the 7%.
yeah,
Okay.
for their raise to be more than 7%.
In 2019.
That is correct. So all the,
Then come January, I'll have on the ordinance for a transfer.
But I'm still concerned that even though he hires CDL drivers in at 17, we still may have some drivers that are not up to that rate yet.
That's what we,
That's what we're doing now.
That's-
This will
Oh,
bring
this
everybody's,
will bring
yes,
everybody-
yes.
yeah.
That's why I said so we don't have a morale problem on every,
It doesn't address the equity part that Kim was talking about, it's the 30-some thousand dollars.
Mhm.
so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion has it. Okay, now,
See, we can get a lot done, Kim.
I know, woo!
Well, one thing that I would like to say too is having been street commissioner, I've been in the garbage trucks with these guys. I've been in the snow plows at 3 o'clock in the morning with them plowing snow. I've been out there when they were putting down the salt brine. I've seen these men that work for streets and sanitations out in the very worst conditions that anybody could have to work in. And we need to take care of them. We need to continually take care of them and reward them for the work that they do, because we've got people that work for the city that's not doing diddly squat. And I think we need to take care of the ones that are doing it.
And it's a very physical job. I mean, it takes a toll on a
it's
person's
all,
body.
an all element job. They're out
Mhm.
there in extreme
Mhm.
heat. They're out there in the thunder. It's not like a ball field, oh, it's lightning, get off the boat. I mean,
Right,
they're still out
People
there.
still want the
But
trash
one
picked up.
thing too is, you gotta take in, when we're talking about this, is when they have a holiday, they gotta work twice as hard to have a day off.
That's right.
Mhm.
We have 2 days off,
That's right.
wow. So that, but then not only that too, is that they're shorthanded, they're overworked and shorthanded, but then also, and so we talked with the other department heads, I don't know, the street department and sanitation are basically the go-to. They have to pick up for, other areas, or with a mayor, or if somebody get their garbage out on time, or they were missed or called, then these guys gotta stop.
They're very
It goes
accommodating.
their whole day, their whole day off,
Well,
so.
my wife instructed me to give them a raise because our driver gives our dogs a treat.
That'd be Mr.
So
Worley right
that
here.
paid dividends
Well,
for your whole.
Mr. Worley.
One thing, Clark, that I would hope that you would do is in
Yeah.
future budgets, that you would come back in future budgets and continually ask for an increase for your people.
That's what's good, that's the second part that she's talking about.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's-
appreciate that. And
Which
I
is why I need
Well,
about $50,000 right
did
now.
get that opportunity to go around.
Huh?
Yeah.
So with that being said, then you can lead the challenge on trying to come up with this 36,000 and then the additional 7,000. So that's the challenge, so that,
Oh, I can do it. We can do it.
can we do that tonight and make that effective January?
We gotta figure out where to take it out.
Well, the problem is that you have to lower something else.
Yeah.
You have to budget.
So-
Yeah, can't do that tonight. You gotta do a budget reduction.
I would request,
that
though,
tonight.
that we make it retroactive to January 1st, if that's a consideration.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But they have to understand that we have, you have to do a budget reduction. We can't do that. We can do that, have it ready to go
Okay.
January, the first meeting in January.
So it might be February before you figure out where to get the money,
But that's why I said
but,
have this workshop now, so we can get the
Yeah.
homework, get the work done, so we can hit the road
I start
running.
going on.
But we have a lot of homework to do.
So you're saying bring them to the equity, or are we saying put them at the minimum of 17? Because you made the motion to put them
Both
at the
of them.
minimum of 17.
Within, on my thing,
Right.
within,
This
Trying
is-
to find
they've got to
40-some
fund the
thousand.
Right,
funds
I know
to
it's
be able
what-
to do
it's what-
this.
yeah.
That's later on that we're going to do retro if we come up with the money. Yeah, that's what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yes.
we gotta find the money. And
Right.
I can't, I don't have the, we don't have the stuff in.
I don't want any
Well,
miscommunication,
So we have to have homework
Last
done.
time.
yeah.
especially with everyone that's being affected in the room. I mean, we don't want to, I hope that's
Clark, all you had to do is ask Stephanie, and she can find the money.
Yeah, we'll find, yeah, we'll find, we'll look at, we'll try to see, we'll try to see what we got, we'll see.
Do any of you guys have questions?
Please, ask questions.
Because I know last time after we left, there was some miscommunication, and
Well,
part of
yeah,
that was
because
on
if
me.
you do come to the podium, and speak so we can hear, because I can't hear back there. So if somebody
I don't
has
think
something to
they can
add, or any questions, concerns, any misunderstandings you want cleared up,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think what needs to be clear, I think what would help, and I could be wrong, but you're talking about 7,500 that you're gonna put towards for him to give them the increase for 2019.
Right.
And the 36 plus the 7 is a separate
Right.
to make them
Yes.
more
So I
whole.
think they need to, that's what they need to hear, what's gonna happen with when you find the 36 and the
Mhm.
7. Because the 7, if I'm not mistaken, the 7,500
To make
is
sure
for,
they get to 17. Make
to
sure-
bring them up to 17.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Now, what's gonna happen after that fact, when you all find the 36 and 7, once you find that, is that gonna become a retroactive to bring them up even higher? Is that correct?
Mhm.
That is correct.
Yep.
That is
Okay.
correct, Vicki. Thank you for that
I don't think
clarification.
it was understood.
Yes.
And I have not given those numbers to anyone, so just in the event that,
Well,
This
the thing
didn't-
is, to let you know, it's audio video, so
so.
it'll be on it'll be on.
No, I mean in terms of the individual, the
Oh, no,
16
no,
employees
just what
with
you
their
said.
years of experience, like you're
No,
saying,
no.
like 17, if this gets approved for the additional request,
No.
that could go to $22,
No,
for
I'm just saying
example.
that, but that
Yes.
was the 2 factors.
Yes,
Right.
you're
Rather
absolutely
than
correct,
separate
yes.
things. Because
Yeah.
I think it was
Mhm.
kind of confusing to me too, but then that way they
Mhm.
know that there is something going to be formed December, or January
Right,
1, but there's going to be additional.
right,
Yes.
right.
All right, and that's why I said it's a process, so if we figure this all out, and then if we do the process and get all the paperwork done, we can retroact it back.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so, is there anybody that, if you'd come up so we can clear here?
Don't touch that. You're loud.
First of all, thanks for having this special council meeting to help straighten out whatever the money problem might be. Our bottom line is, and our concern was just be better providers for our families. And so when I brought something else up to Kim's attention, she was kind of shattered about it. So I'll just give you a couple tidbits of information. Time Magazine takes a poll on the most dangerous jobs in the country. Ours was ranked 5th in the nation. 5th, that's pretty high. And some people were saying, well, where's law enforcement? They're in the lower 20. They're 15th and 16th in the nation. So with that being said, I worked for Rumpke for a long time. And your tippers, they almost kill themselves doing their job. But the bottom line is, I had to go with our safety director to a woman's house to let her know that her husband was killed on the job because he was a tipper on the back of a truck. Now, a lot of people, you want to say you don't want that to ever happen, but I've come close to being that person several times, even as a CDL driver, being a tipper, helping another driver out. And that's no one's fault, but that's just the way it is. But I just thought I should bring that up to you that way, shed a little bit more light on you, that way you guys know, and ladies know, once again, what we're up against.
We do.
Thank
you.
And we appreciate you.
Say 2 more things real quick, and then I'll shut up. Is that okay, Madam President?
Okay.
Clark, on the trucks, you know how the fire trucks put those yellow and black stripes down the back of the truck, like, you've seen them.
Right.
Is there any way you can put that on the back of their trucks? Like, they're real big, and I've seen them, it's yellow and black stripes. Yeah, on the back of their trucks, because I know there's been times on my way to work when it's like on Kawana and places like that, when it's starting to get early, that it's kind of dark, that sometimes you can't see them real well. And that's a busy
Right.
street.
That's something I'm looking into.
The other thing I would just like to say, and I've said it time and time again, and I know I'm old, but the 8 years I was on the council, and I know Ron did too, I would recommend that the council members, if you haven't, ride with those guys, especially in the snow at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, to see exactly what they do. Because that is an eye-opener. It's cold, it's snowing, it's deep, and they're out there.
They've worked
And
all day.
And I'll shut up, but I just highly recommend it because until you are in their shoes, you have no idea what they do.
Well, one of the things, and Clark, that's one of the reasons that you hear me talk about giving y'all the equipment that you need. My first week as street commissioner, when I was street commissioner, my first week, I got on the back of the truck and I worked with the guys. I also climbed in the truck and I drove the truck. And at that time, we had equipment that had to be pulled off the road. There, Louis was my supervisor at that time. We had equipment that we had to pull off the road because it was so dangerous. It had bad brakes and other things wrong with it. And I don't want to see any of our guys lose their lives because of insufficient equipment. And I will continue to push for you to get the best of equipment and to push for you to be able to get the employees that you need.
And again, I'm finished speaking, but like I said earlier, you all have been great in trying to keep us updated and get equipment. So that's that's an issue we're working on. It's an issue y'all help us on. We're heading in the right direction that way.
One last comment. We do have, by Mr. Clark and a couple of supervisors, were able to work out something with a company up in Cleveland. We brought 2 trucks back from Cleveland, Ohio. They'll spoil you, actually. They're 2019 garbage trucks. And, I'll show Kim at the, but it would be really phenomenal if somehow somebody could finagle the money around to find out to get a couple more of those. Those would be really nice. And they're a lot safer too, and more updated. Hey, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? So everybody understands? No questions? I should say speak now, forever hold your peace, but I'm sure Kim will get a call tomorrow and say, what?
That's okay, we spent a lot of time
Okay.
together lately, haven't we?
Okay. And you understand the work, there's got to be some work done, and then there's a process. Okay. All right. Did you,
No, this is great, thank you, appreciate
Clark, do you
everybody's
have anything?
support and
No, I
insight.
just appreciate the guys coming out because they didn't prep out all that stuff. And, it was our job, not necessarily yours, or y'all have done it. But we let you know what we need, and our concerns, and present them to you all. And I appreciate what you all are doing. I appreciate Kim putting a lot of time, Heather, for working with us. And we're putting a lot of time doing this stuff. And we're doing it to try to make things better and safe for the guys here, plus our community, try to do our job top notch every day. I really appreciate you all.
I will say, Heather, that those numbers that Kim gave us, like that 35,679, if that doesn't include the Social Security and whatever, we need that. We need the true number.
That's more like 42, yeah. That's where Vicki was saying it's 35 plus another 7.
Okay.
Thank you all very much. Again, we've got a lot of really good talent here. It's probably one of the best crews we've had
Yeah,
in a
thank
long,
you
long
all.
time. And the
So
last
you're-
thing we want to do is have these guys leave, and they have opportunities every day. And I think they've stuck it out because they do like it, and they hope that we're going to get somewhere with trying to make that hourly rate a little more of a livable wage for them. So I really, really appreciate your all's time and attention and support. It means a lot.
This council, there's not one person on this council that doesn't appreciate the hard job that they do, and they know that the job they do. So we're going to work hard. We're going to do our best to make sure you guys are taken care of. But we know that, like I said before, there's a lot that, a lot of people don't realize what it takes to take the city, but I'm going to tell you all make me look good. I go anywhere and they'll call and they'll say, with the yard waste and the conditions and all that, and I can only speak for myself, but really all of us up here in our districts and the work that you all do, you make us look really good, and we thank you for that. So.
I'd like to say one thing. I'm sorry I came late, but I just want to say that I worked my way through college by tipping garbage and by doing cold patch. So I know the job, and in the state of Ohio, you had to get a chauffeur's license to drive, and I did that. So I've done a lot of what you've done back in the day in my younger years. But I really appreciate what you do, and I got your back. And if there's ever you need anything to make your job safer, please speak up. Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
That's it. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Yep. You got it.
You adjourn.